This is Let's Talk Teens, a parenting podcast sharing tips on raising amazing teenagers. We are both certified life coaches that have worked with teenagers as coaches, mentors, and teachers. We are sharing what we have found to work best when dealing with teens and tough issues. This is Abbi and Cheree, episode 57, What to Do When Your Teen Procrastinates Everything.
So easy as a parent to jump in and fix it or save them or label our kid, oh, they're so lazy or they're so unmotivated or they're such a procrastinator. But I have some good tips. Abbi and I are going to help you out with this of what you can do to help your teen instead of join the stress of the procrastination. So number one, we're going to talk about is skip the nagging. Oh, this probably seems so counterintuitive because our brain wants to be like, if I remind them, if I nag them, if I keep them on it, maybe then they'll do what they need to do. But we need to remember that when our teen's procrastinating, it's usually the root of that is often stress, fear, or overwhelm. And if we can look for that and like notice, like, okay, really, why are they procrastinating? Maybe they're feeling really overwhelmed. We can go to them and be like, hey, what's going on? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you stressed? Is there something that we can help you with? And really getting to that root cause instead of just being like, you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do this. And why haven't you done this? And that nagging just adds to the stress or the overwhelm or whatever they have going on in their head and doesn't actually help them. So skip the nagging.
I was just thinking, Sheree, my biggest teacher on this was my husband because I was done with school by the time we got married and he was just starting his college journey, right? So through his bachelor's and then through his master's, I felt like I was constantly nagging because school for me was really easy. I don't struggle with procrastination. I struggle with other things, but not procrastination. So to watch him, I'd be like, don't you have an assignment tonight? Right? Don't you this? And he'd be like, yeah, I'm going to get to it. And it would drive me nuts, right? But guess what? No matter how much I nagged, no matter how much I was like, you should do that right now. Like, because I have so many great ideas on doing your homework. It didn't help ever. He just did it when he was going to do it anyway.
Yeah, and I think it's the same with our teens. Like we can nag and it actually just creates more conflict in the relationship and it doesn't help them. And it really usually there is something going on underneath of it is the problem with procrastination. So nagging's not going to help. Okay, I think the second thing we can do to really help them when they're procrastinating is show them how to break the tasks into like smaller increments. Like instead of, okay, I need to go and finish my essay or I got to go write this whole essay, teach them how to say, to do it more like this of like, okay, today I'm going to write the first paragraph of my essay
Hmm.
and just help them make it more doable. Because a lot of times, procrastination again comes from overwhelm. We're thinking of that whole thing we need to do. And if we can teach our teen how to break it into smaller tasks, it seems more doable. And then they're less likely to procrastinate because it feels doable, just like I said.
I've mentioned this a lot on through various episodes, but I believe in a 15-minute timer because starting is the hardest part. And if you can get your teen to start and maybe you help them with that, hey, we come home today, I'm going to help you write that first paragraph. If you can just get them started, it's like it flows. It's like going downhill from there.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you brought that up because that was the next thing I wanted to make sure that we covered was, to teach them to time block, which is that whole 15-20 minutes of set the timer, work on this paper for 15 to 20 minutes, whatever, feels doable. And then we're going to take that same amount at least of a break, do something else, get a snack, have some screen time, whatever. And then we're going to come back to it. And so it's not this like you just have to sit down and do this paper for 5 hours. It's like, hey, let's work on this for 20 minutes and then let's take a little break and then we'll come back to it. Or, if it's not due right away, let's just do 20 minutes a day. Let's 20 minutes on this paper and it's going to get done and it's not going to seem so hard and so overwhelming and so big. So I love the time block thing. So thank you for bringing that up. Um, I think the last thing that I just think is really, really important on this one is connect their actions to their purpose or why. Like, why, why do you want to sit down and get this paper done? Like, what's your why behind it? Because I think a lot of times our brain just doesn't have that connection of like, oh, I have to do this paper. But why are you choosing to do this paper instead of getting a zero on it. Why do you want to get it done? And how is that going to affect your grades or your goals or in long term, like where do you want to go? What do you want to have happen in the future? And how these little steps of these things that we don't want to do, that our brain is always saying is takes way too much work and is so hard. And you and I both know that we have that amygdala part of our brain, that survival part, just wants ease, wants things to be
Mhm.
easy. And so we're always having that fight against us. But one of the best ways to combat that or boss our brain with that is to understand our why, our compelling reason, and connect that of like, okay, this is why like I really hate writing papers. They take a lot of work. It feels overwhelming. But ultimately, what I'm really wanting is to get a good grade in this class, to graduate
Mhm.
with honors, or just to graduate, or to graduate with this scholarship, or, like long term, I want to be able to have this kind of a job. And this is important that I learn how to do this.
Yeah. I was just thinking, I'm not above rewards. I love rewards in
Yes.
my parenting style. And, telling your teen, hey, get this paper that's been bugging you and you've been upset about it for days, right? Get it done and let's go get ice cream. Let's go get pizza, right? Teaching them that motivational tool. Cheree, I doubt this about you because you're so disciplined. I am so motivated by food. And so I'll be like, I'll go get a treat if I get this hard thing done, right? And sticking to that word as a parent, right? And helping our youth realize, wow, this really is a good system of work and reward because that's how real life works. So I love using that with my teens, and then just helping them to realize, hey, sometimes school and papers and homework, like sometimes you really are jumping through hoops, right? And I feel like getting down on their level and being like, yeah, I get that this assignment's really silly or this really doesn't have an impact on your grade. But it's the fact that I'm like pounding through and doing it, right? And just being on their level and being like, let's get this done, right? Let's just get this out of your way because it's been bugging you for forever.
Yeah, and it really is strengthening that muscle of not, again, like I think there's a lot of times where it's like, oh, this is really pointless. And even as a parent,
Hmm.
we can see that. But teaching our kids that to use that perseverance muscle or that, just sticking with it muscle of like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this, even though it's hard, maybe even though I don't see the point in it, I'm going to keep going. And P.S. just backstory. Unfortunately, I am way too motivated by food. Right now, my big motivation for food is peach shakes. Peaches are
Oh,
like where I live, Fruit Highway, are big, and there's two places that are my favorite to get a peach shake. And today, that is my goal. If I get certain
good.
shake, it is.
So congrats, Cherie. You are human, like the rest of us that need their
Yeah.
peach shake.
I've been procrastinating, and my peach shake is my reward today. But yeah, I do. I think rewards are so good for our teens and for ourselves. And something that even just time, like even just like, hey, you get this paper done, or you get this assignment done, or you get your room clean that you've been procrastinating, and you get to stay out half hour past curfew. Like,
Yes.
I think there's really some good things that happen when our brain sees, okay, if I do this, then I get this, or if I do this, it's going to benefit me this way. And I think our brain needs to see that benefit from what we're going to do. It just kind of helps us get through that hard, like lack of desire to do it because we like pleasure. We like to feel
Yeah.
good. We're looking for it.
Why
And
not hack our brain? Do you know what I
yep,
mean? I feel like rewards
absolutely.
are hacking our brain and let's go with the system. Let's not go against it. Let's go
E-
with it.
Exactly. I think it's just good to remember as a parent that it's very normal for your teen, for even yourself, to procrastinate. And what that is coming from is your brain, again, likes ease and comfort. It doesn't want to do hard. It's looking for relief from what seems overwhelming. And when we can understand that and look at, okay, like what's going on here, break it up, make it more doable, and reward our brain and give our brain what it likes, which is pleasure, hack that brain. It's going to make all the difference. So help your teen out. Look at that as, okay, they have a normal brain. They're not lazy. They're not unmotivated. They just are trying to figure out how to motivate themselves, and you get to help them learn that.
Yes. I guess my last thought on this too is sometimes it's like a personality thing. Like that's what I had to finally come to with me and my husband of like, I can't relax and have a good time if I feel like work is done. And
Mhm.
some people have to relax and have fun before they feel like are charged enough to do work, right?
True. Yeah.
And then those people get married. And then-
That is true.
But
True.
I'm saying, I finally had to get to a point where I was like, well, he turns in his assignments, right? And is it at 1, 2 in the morning? Yeah,
Maybe.
but that's when he finds his groove, right? And so sometimes you have to just take a step back as a parent and go, okay, they're getting it in. Their grades are okay. Do I wish they would do this the way I want them to with the snack and you sit down and we do it right after school? Yeah, but I can't control them, right? So sometimes we have to let go of that control and just be like, hey, it's in, grades are good. However, you got that done, whatever voodoo magic, right, you had to do, you do it, right? And so sometimes just know there's a personality factor too.
Oh, I totally agree. You parents, you've got this. Your kid is normal if they procrastinate. It's normal for them to figure out their own system and what works for them and enjoy the ride. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you for listening to Let's Talk Teens with Cheree Murdock and Abbi Winslow. If you are looking for more tips to help your teenager, here's where you can find us. You can find Cheree Murdock on Instagram at Cheree Murdock Coaching or on her website, ChereeMurdock.com. You can find me, Abbi, on Instagram as Abbi Winslow or on my website, AbbiWinslow.com. Please rate and review our podcast and share with a fellow parent. Thanks for listening.